Hello again. This is Bill St. George, and not Ron Burgundy. How's anybody ever see any of those Ron Burgundy? God, all those mouth exercises he was doing. He's a funny dude. Anyway, I guess they have another one out now. Anyway, we're going to do another portrait. Calm down out there, okay? This is, I know it's exciting and all, but hey, what am I going to do? Anyway, I'm going to do one of this guy here. And, well, actually, I'll show you the picture, and then you can make a determination whether it looks anything like the guy, okay? And his name, by the way, he got a great name. Can you see that, Luke? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, great. Honor Titus. And I don't know the name of the group. I think it was on another page. Photographs by Martin Perlacki. That's about all. Anyway, Honor is a 24-year-old kid who doesn't hesitate when asked to describe his band's faded jean, leather jacket, New York J-Train boys taking you to a party. What a great writing this guy's doing. That attitude has carried the skate punk outfit from humble beginnings in East New York, Brooklyn, to sold-out shows in Japan and Britain. And while they've left an impressive tale of debauchery along the way, Titus describes the band's first trip to London as an X-rated version of A Hard Day's Night. Their influences have developed with age. And it's kind of an interesting sideline about this kid. I enjoy a lot of the French writers like Genet and Rimbaud, the singer says, sounding more like a literature scholar than a self-described lover of pizza and skateboarding. They're people who did things on their own terms, and I plan on doing that forever. Very interesting, huh? The kid's got it together. You'll be hearing a lot more about him. Sure. Honor Titus. Anyway. Oh, let me get over here. My wife says I sound like an old man. She's right. What am I going to do? And make all these grunts and groans. You get a certain age, you know what I mean, out there in TV land, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, this was done similarly to the other one when I did it, and along the lines of putting a lot of paint on. You know, this is kind of shiny and sticky up here. I don't know why. Because everything else, you know, like it's shiny in here. It's dry. So evidently I used a lot of liquid there and not a lot of medium. And the liquid dries as a varnish. In fact, the liquid itself is a dryer. It's not necessarily just a medium. All right. I used to use a medium for a number of years. Not that kind of a medium, but medium of. Wait a minute. Okay. Right. The medium was a third linseed oil, a third Damar varnish, and a third thinner, paint thinner. And at the time it was turpentine. Turpentine is really a deadly thing. Don't use it. By all means, do not use it. Because it'll kill you. It really will. Eventually, it seeps into your bloodstream. I knew a guy, I don't know, he lived to be about almost 80, I think, maybe. He was one of the lucky ones. Because he used to use this cheap junk. You know, he did a lot of demos and stuff. As an artist friend of mine. Funny guy. He had some great stories from World War II. Anyway, and he would use this cheap stuff, right? I hate this. Oh, man, wait a minute. Hold on. I know I got that rubber tape, but that stuff is like, wow. Anyway, and he would use this thinner, and if you went to his, nope, I'm going to get it in. I'm going to just hit it. Good. and you would smell. I think he bought it for like $1 a gallon. I mean, it was so cheap and horrible, And you'd be down in the front row, and people were almost passing out and dying on him. I mean, gave a heck of a demo, but you may not live through it, and it was just not the thing to do. And so I guess, and what's happening too with some of the paints, and then we'll get painting, is that the pure color of let's see, the like the cadmium red, or the cadmium orange, or anything with some of the phthalo ceruleans. Well, it's not cerulean so much, but your warm colors have a lot of metal in them, and and it's like in liquid form. And if you're painting with this stuff, by all means wear gloves. Otherwise, you're in trouble. It seeps into the skin, and it can be very dangerous. In fact, my point being, some of the larger manufacturers of paint have stopped using it. I mean, they stopped manufacturing the pure stuff. It's very expensive when it's pure, and also very deadly. So anyway, instead of getting the pure stuff now, I still am getting the cadmium orange. I guess that's, let's see, yeah, it's orange. But you're going to be seeing hue on everything, especially those colors, because the manufacturers don't want big lawsuits, Anyway, let's get going here. I'm going to do this guy's hair. No, not really. I mean, not that way. Yeah, you want me to do your hair, sir? No, it's right here. Okay. What I did here is I can't find the paint. I got 9,000 paints down here, but I can't find black. So I'm going to settle for indigo. Yeah, indigo, and that's it. So I'll use the indigo with some red, and that'll warm it up. I used the black, right? That was my point. I used nothing but black, and it was too harsh. So I started putting some of I think it was alizarin crimson, into the black while it was still wet. I like adding the red. In fact, you want to try that sometime, do it, You get something like this here where it's just a black color, the jacket. And I don't know if I even want to leave it black. I kind of like it because it makes it with his hair, And I'll worry about the skin tone, and that there'll be some kind of balance between the skin tone. And whoops, okay, I can see where I've messed up here too, but hey, let's see what happens. Okay, and his ear, and let's see, bing, bing, yeah, okay, I'm all right there. I'm just going to leave it. Maybe you think otherwise in viewer land, but that's okay. God, I used to think that way, Oh man, I'm out in the street painting, and people are going to see me paint, and they're going to start coming up to me and laughing at me, and they do anyway. But you get used to it, because they got their own concept. And look, you'll never learn that way. You'll never be anything that way if you constantly think that somebody's going to be criticizing you for your painting ability or inability, whatever, right? So paint how you feel. And the heck with your audience. Because in painting, I think you have an audience of just one. That's you. Okay? Just kind of develop your own thing. I have students that ask me, when can I develop a style? Yeah, I developed mine over a period of 50 years. So maybe 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. You don't want to develop any kind of style, I think, because in so doing, you've locked yourself into painting a certain way. Wow, that's awful. Okay, see if I can get, yep. Got some of that green in there. And maybe let's see. That's a horrible. It's not the green so much as that photo. I don't know if I'm seeing enough of it, which is probably a good thing. I'm not, you know. I think in this case, it'd be better if I didn't. Now, one eye is up here, and this eye, okay, this eye should come down a little bit, and that should go up a little bit. Yeah. I almost want them on the same plane, you know, a little goofy looking. Yeah, okay. So, let me see. Okay. Bring on some of that light. Nostril is much too big here on this side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that all around, okay? And I'll leak some of that light through there. Okay. There. Yeah, I wish I had time enough on these shows. My God, I mean, it's, I don't know, you gotta, the time being that I would like to take you through a whole painting. Maybe we'll do that someday. I think if, rather than, another idea for a show, rather than just this piecemeal stuff, if I did a whole, you know, if I did like 3 or 4 of these, and then what would we do? Kind of push the time on it, you know what I mean? Not push it, I mean blend it so that you edit each tape. Let's say this painting in and of itself, right now I'm into this maybe 3.5 hours, okay? And if we just did a portion of it, you know, I did the whole thing, short a half an hour, and then we edit it all down so you don't have to fall asleep, is what I'm saying. You know, although you may be falling asleep now. But anyway, it's doing a whole painting. Why don't we do that sometime? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring this in. I believe what Van Gogh said about painting, his whole thing was he wanted to paint as if, what was his whole thing? Was as if he were drawing, no more, no less, you know? Like he's drawing. He's not really painting, he's drawing. Okay. I pretty much like to paint that way. So it's not separate of the painting, you know? Okay. Now the teeth, going up here just for a second, mainly because I'm just thinking of them. I just kind of like, before I stopped this painting, that's all I did was ding, 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 with 5 of them. Well, if I go to fix this now, you know, maybe it will work, and maybe it won't. I don't know. But sometimes the stuff that you do, like on an impulse, and you do it really fast, it comes out the best, you know? Okay. Now, up in here, yeah, there's a little lighter area in there. Again, on this one, I'm not going to finish it now, but I'll just kind of talk to you about the art process. And there we go. See, the distance between here and here is way too great. But hey, what I'd rather do is I'm going to bring this head in, I mean the hair line in, you know, to about here. And then what I'll do, rather than try to paint the hair, is I'll paint the background and knock out the hair. So I'll make that adjustment that way. That's called painting from the outside in. Okay, so let me see if I can do this. I'll give this a little while. Must be drinking too much lately. I don't know. It's like, whoo. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Oh, jeepers, I look at some of these brush strokes I make. Like, wow, scary. Okay, I'll leave that. I'm going to go in that with another color. But his head actually has some red to it a little bit. It goes that way, you know, because he's holding his head up. So the forehead is definitely going to be, whoops, that's going to be narrower than this part of his body because you're looking up at it. So you have to understand those things that happen in order to bring this in. I'll make all the adjustment from here on out, okay? So you're going to have to suspend reality for a few minutes. Let's say we're going to do that, okay? All right? So I'm not afraid. And if that works as it is, fine. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But that's one way of doing it, rather than try to do it all, you know, all within one. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but it can't be done in one as one. I don't want to, in other words. What I'm doing is I'm going to do that and I'm going to leave it and see what happens, okay? And if it works, fine. If it becomes too freaky looking, I'll make the adjustment in, okay, with the background. I think, yeah, what I like about this painting is that it has a nice kind of a rustic, rough quality to it, you know. And like I say, it's similar to a painting I saw Monet. It's a Spanish kid, and he's looking up. I don't know. You don't know where your influences are coming from. You really don't. Not in this business anyway, in the art business. Yeah. He's kind of a happy dude. Probably stoned. I don't know. Drugs. Alcohol. Whoops. Yep. I told you. I'm sorry. That was like isn't that weird? That's spooky stuff. Whew. I have another show and call it Paranormal Art. Right? No. No. Thank you. Anyway, let's see. He's looking pretty good, I think. Now, what I'm going to use down here is a cadmium, not a cadmium, it's earth orange, and it's a transparent color, and it is very nice. I would suggest, if you want to try pick yourself up some transparent orange, all right, and red, both of them. What it is, it's a color that, see, you can, transparent as it, you know, it doesn't, it doesn't affect the other paints underneath that much. You know what I mean? Okay. I can use it over here. He's got a funny little mustache too, but I don't care about that right now. I gave this as an exercise to my class over in Newton. I teach over at the New Arts Center. And, God, I learn a lot from them anyway. You know, you should be learning from your students, huh? Right? And that's what encouraged me to paint it, just looking at it and watching how it came out for them. And what was the thing that I don't remember right offhand what I was going to say, which is not unusual really, but I do have a class over there, and I do learn a lot by watching them. Whew. I don't know about that, though. Here I'm using a green. I don't have the same green as I had before. I had it was called Terra Verte, I guess it is. And I think I left that at my studio. Problem is I have more colors, you know, more paints. They're all over the place. I'll show up at a demo and I won't have any colors because I used them. And I have really should separate that stuff, but I don't. Anyway, I'll leave that. My point being, I'll have to substitute with something else. So I will use the ultramarine blue, white, and cadmium yellow light. Yeah, hey, that's not too bad. See, so this is what I'm talking about right in this area. And it looks like he's got a big jug head there. And this here, and I'm going to do, I'm going to knock this right back in here, okay? And then go back in and fix the ear, okay? Right there, okay? Now he doesn't have any ear, and I'm going to put it in, and then he's got a little hair underneath that. He's got the ear. This is fine on this side. I'm going to go a little darker on here, right on this side of the, that's too light, on this side of the shirt and collar. Hey, I really enjoy painting from photos. Of course, I got somebody last week, I think, that was telling me that, you work from photographs. And I said, yeah. Well, isn't that kind of like cheating? I said, what? I said, no. Why? And this person wasn't even a painter. It was well, anyway. I get that once in a while, yeah. Oh, some of my best stories. Guys, wow, I like those horses. How did you paint them? Well, I didn't go out in the field while they ran around because I have to paint like a son of a gun, right? So I work from photos. There's so many things you can do if you have photos. There's a movie out right now, and I forgot the name of it, but it's Penn and Teller, and they came out with this. Well, I like this. I want to leave that alone. See, this is getting too finished looking. I hate it. You know what I mean? That side works good. So maybe it was okay as it was. Maybe not. Anyway, the movie is about the wonderful paintings that were done by Vermeer. I don't know if you're familiar with Vermeer's work. He was just amazing. And you say, how did he get those, like plane of the tree? Are we down to 3 minutes? Oh, 3. Anyway, and that guy must have been a real, he was really good. And what they had back in, that was going to be the hair. Anyway, what he had was what was available to the people back then were these things called some kind of an opticon, or a pinhole camera, and they just traced it, or he traced them. And people, it's like, oh my God, he did. No, he didn't. A big argument, it's like I look at some of the paintings that I really like, and I say, how did he do that? And then you say, wow, he's either talented, really talented, or he used some kind of a gimmick. And of course, when you're a kid and you're a young art student, you don't want to know that stuff, right? Well, I think that's what he did. I think that's what the film brings out too, is they did that. But my point being, if I can digress, is that sometimes you need help. It was like, hey, yeah, that's not bad. It was like somebody asked, what's his name, Rauschenberg. Hey, Bob Rauschenberg. I think he just passed away like last year. Great painter. I mean, he just amazing talent. But he says you got a whole. He used newspapers. He used everybody's artwork. Andy Warhol was the same way. Although he was another story. But, if it's available to you, use it for God's sakes, You don't have to be a purist. That's a boring way to live anyway, Anyway, I get probably down to the 2-minute mark. I'll hear that door open again. And in we'll walk. Let's see. Yeah, 2 minutes already? Hi, Pete. Peter doesn't want to come in again. Last time I threw a painting at him, he hated that. Anyway, hey, what do you think, huh? Yeah, I think, hey, I could keep going with this thing. Gives you a good idea. Eyes are about right. I'll straighten the teeth out a little bit. What I like about this painting is I like it personally, and if I don't like it, I don't, how can I get somebody else to like it? And what I like about it is its rawness. It's kind of raw and spontaneous. And if you look at Van Gogh's work, his stuff was like that too. Actually, the guy that helped helped Van Gogh most, was Gauguin. Contrary to popular belief, Van Gogh didn't finish his paintings all at once. He did, and you could see the earlier ones that he did compared to the ones that he did when he'd take them back to the studio and finish them up. So anyway, we got a minute, yeah? The big camera in the sky, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So use whatever you can use, all right? And you'd be surprised what you come up with. Rauschenberg said, we'll get newspapers, get everything at our disposal. Why not use them? And he did. Anyway, this is Bill St. George. Well, no, jeepers, holy smoke. I'm going into the third show. It was nice having you with me, folks. And remember, keep painting.